No spotter, no problem.
Kind of.
Oh, baby. Oh, yeah.
And so firstly, thank you for the comments. You don't realize how surreal this is to me. And thank you for taking the time to watch the videos. I had so many great comments on myo reps. My virgin joke went down awkwardly well. Shredded virgin science coming soon. Is that? No, that's wrong. YouTube video creation rule number 1, always make virgin jokes. I should know. And this week's Darwin Award goes to...
Putting these muscles to the test.
I don't think he's doing International Chest Day, right?
Oh, hey.
What are you training today, mate? Oh, a couple of dudes punching me in my nipples. I Love Tren t-shirts are now weirdly being sold at Walmart, next to the Lego sets, I think. Here is Cody Lifts rocking one, whilst his mum films him, obviously. How bad do you want it? Hopefully not enough that you're taking Tren as a teenager, and hopefully that t-shirt was being worn ironically, because fellas on TikTok seem to be lacking brain cells these days, which is not a segue to
my 1 year and 5 month natty transformation.
The most controversial natty. I mean, you tell me, right? It seems like guys are getting younger and younger and are making incredible gains very quickly. Maybe it's the access to information now on how to train. Maybe it's how to trend. I think with a lot of this stuff which has overtaken social media fitness, you've got to be mindful of the lighting and angles and video skills also. But natty or not, or well shot to make someone look huge.
18 years old natural athlete take a scroll to lose brain cell.
It all comes back to people being given unrealistic body goal images on the major social media platforms by their peers and by influencers, and certainly not in the short time frames being promoted. And for anyone wondering about the state of social media right now, Belle Delphine's page is categorized as art, and then we get to the trendsetters, or what I call not at all rebellious or edgy but easily influenced young men, a very special subculture in the fitness world, like this bloke who at 20 is proudly showing his trendsetter lifestyle. The poignant movement created by Disney Skywalker, who is making a living out of influencing 18 to 21-year-olds to juice, as you do. And let's not forget the potential side effects of a trendsetter lifestyle. And no, I don't mean being the dude who goes topless on a night out, because everyone loves that guy, but genuine side effects of being an aesthetic Fuark bra, as they say. In this week's IFBB pros need to flex their brains. Meet Samantha Jering, IFBB pro. Now, Samantha is clearly elite at what she does. Incredibly driven, disciplined, focused on her sport. She sacrifices a lot. Not natty for anyone wondering, because, you know, IFBB pro, ironically, she's now sponsored by Dana Lynn Bailey. And I almost spat out my dummy when I saw that she was selling Hemo Rage pre-workout, one of the latest offerings on the market from Nutrex. I do not understand why IFBB pros or other fitness celebs risk their entire reputation and all the hard work they've put throughout their career on being sponsored by really, really substandard products. There has to be a better way for them to make money. Introducing Hemo Rage High Stim pre-workout Unleashed. So the whole thing is a prop blend. Every ingredient. That is so disappointing. And again, why put all your hard work and your status in the industry on the line and attach yourself to a prop blend pre-workout with not a single ingredient dose listed? I couldn't agree more. It's an embarrassment. It's like me trying to put one of those straws in a Capri Sun. And they also sponsor this dude. If you haven't already checked out Dream or Hemo Rage Unleashed, this is your sign to do so. To be fair, looking at your supplement did feel like having a medicine ball slammed into my gut. The goat of high stim pre-workouts. Yeah, a diseased one that needs putting out his misery.
You're not natty. Here's why. If you drink energy drinks, you're not natural. Energy drinks are comprised of caffeine that's made in a lab. It's synthetic. If you take something like a peptide, you can still be considered natural. Peptides are comprised of amino acids created from a peptide bond from a natural source. So peptides, even though they have crazy effects like muscle gain, fat loss, are actually natural. Energy drinks, not natural. But your natty card, has been revoked.
So that logic was brought to you by Jason Poston, an elite IFBB Pro bodybuilder. I don't think I'm going to get any IFBB Pro Christmas cards after this. And so he's a big proponent of using certain peptides for health-related reasons, which would be absolutely fantastic if, you know, it had any actual evidence.
Then I've got, which one is this? This is BPC 157. This is helping me heal some pains in my bicep that I had, so it's reducing the inflammation. I'm immediately doing biceps again. I haven't done biceps all year. My biceps are hurting, and this is allowing me to do biceps again.
BPC 157, the Wolverine drug. LOL, I love it. It's healing my shoulder too. Facts. Yeah, facts for rats, mate. The little fellas in my drain outside are squeaking with approval. There is absolutely no human evidence whatsoever that BPC 157 does what he says. This is anecdotal. This is literal verbal vomit at this point. The research we have to date is all on rodents and animals. You cannot extrapolate that to the human population with any good ethics or strong communication. And the ironic thing in relation to his Natty video, which I know was done slightly for effect,
Peptides, even though they have crazy effects like muscle gain, fat loss, are actually natural.
is BPC 157 is literally synthetic. The peptide chain doesn't exist naturally. It is made in a lab. Dear influencers, can I give you all biology lessons? I'm going to buy little kids' desks for you to sit at just to make it comedic. And so as much as Jason seems a nice guy, I really worry when people with large audiences present substances to people which have absolutely no support in terms of human research and evidence. I will always have love for that man because he was the Mountain in Game of Thrones. But what about the new pre-workout offering on the market that he's promoting from Transparent Labs? And so I've discussed supplement ingredients so many times, so again, I'll draw it for you. Just pause this here and screenshot that. Now, to be fair to them, there is a lot of good stuff in here in amounts that we don't actually normally see, such as L-citrulline malate. And at $60, it may be more expensive than other pre-workouts, but again, that is perhaps because you're getting better amounts of certain ingredients in it. There is some stuff in there I just don't think is the best, I don't really like, but there's certainly a lot of good in there as well, for fairness. 1 week back into training. How is my shape? Pretty impressive. And the Mountain, even after his recomposition into other athletic pursuits, such as punching Eddie Hall in the face, is still an absolute beast.
5 steps to naturally boost your testosterone levels. Number 1 is you want to get your sleep on point. I like to sleep naked. You want to let everything hang.
That is a sentence you can never unhear. So removing the context of increasing test for a second, the actual ideas of getting sunshine and lifting in terms of health are very good, but this is a sales funnel to his new Natty test boosting supplement Kino Mojo. And so I think Natty test boosters are one of the worst supplement categories ever made. I also don't think that people understand with a lot of hormonal responses to certain protocols that, for example, increased test, it's a short-term response and it's transient in nature, so it's not significant and effective long-term. First up, magnesium and zinc, something you can get in adequate amounts from your food. As Greg actually correctly says in his video,
magnesium, zinc, and boron. So you want to either supplement with these 3 or making sure you get enough in your diet.
He debunked himself. And more magnesium and zinc doesn't mean better per se, the point of diminishing returns, because of just how much your body can absorb. If you can get in food, Greg, then why do people need to supplement, mate? Unless someone has a deficiency in them due to perhaps medical issues or some type of extreme eating protocol, but I don't think that's your target market, mate. There's no reason to buy this for the magnesium and zinc. Then we have the herb coleus. His 250 milligrams is what we see in the paucity of research, because there isn't much research. And Greg gives no references on his page with his claims, which is simply not good enough when you are selling a supplement to people.
Who else? Who else?
But I think he's citing this study for coleus and test because there aren't many. Be mindful that this study was on overweight and obese men, so it's a very specific sample group there. And it did actually show an increase in test by using this herb. So he's not wrong to necessarily consider this herb, but research into coleus is so primitive. We're at the start of the process, the beginning. There's no way that you can say that this is strongly evidence-based. And so ethically, I would not stick it in a supplement, but that's probably not good business sense. And then we have Eurycoma, longifolia. It's easy for me to say. Same problem for me, hardly any research. But we do have, for example, this study looking at 50 to 70-year-old men with declining test levels, which would not be Kinobody's target market, to be clear. Young guys wanting girls draped off their arms is his target market, which is absolutely fine, by the way, but just don't sell them this. And so this study did show an increase in test, but it has so many limitations to it. For example, there's conflicts of interest. Some of the researchers work for the pharmaceutical company that produces the supplement. The actual significance in the amount of test increased is debatable. And indeed, we have, for example, Ismail et al. 2012, which did look at EL intervention in younger men as young as 30, and it did not find an increase in test by using this substance. Throughout the study, no significant changes among the E. longifolia subjects or differences to placebo are seen in hormonal profiles, testosterones. We have unconvincing, contradictory, preliminary evidence. Again, Greg, and I'm sure you've never heard this before, you are premature in putting these ingredients in your supplement and making the claims you are. But don't let the facts get in the way of a good story, a good sale. And then boron, which again does not have a strong evidence base for increasing tests, despite what influencers will tell you. Again, boron has mixed, unconvincing data. The most positive research from 2011 did find an increase in test, but importantly, it was a short-term study with results given after 1 week. It needs to be replicated in longer-term studies, especially when considering increasing hormone levels, which, as I said before, to be beneficial needs to be sustainable long-term. Because we have, for example, a far more applicable study, a longer 7-week study aimed specifically at resistance-trained men, which did not find any effect of boron with increased test. We have mixed, contradictory, limited data where longer-term studies skew towards boron not being effective on test. But what people do is they see one positive piece of data and rush to stick it in a supplement, where if we take a step back and look at the entirety of the evidence base, it is not sufficient. But anyway, you can get it from food. Eat some fruit. Kino Mojo time. This has been our fastest growing supplement of all time, and for good reason. The reason being young men who don't need it being influenced by your presentation skills. The babes hanging off your arm, to be clear. Greg's gains are from his hard work over many years. He may have used a little gear over the years, I don't know, maybe he never has, but certainly he didn't get his mojo from this supplement.
Superhero stack and mojo in the veins.
Despite what the sales caption says.
Is there no one else? Is there no one else?
Apparently so, and they're emptying their wallets for you.